All right. Welcome to SNC podcast episode 37. Wow, 37 of these. This is one of our last episodes for a while. We got the guys from Beards and Comics podcast. We're doing a little cross promotion type thing. So introduce yourselves, guys.
You can go first for once.
All right. Yeah, I'm Matt. I am one of the co-owners of Catalyst Comics Studios and Beards and Comics podcast. I'm more of the artist, and this next guy right here, he's the writer. But that's pretty much it.
Super deep, man. Yep, I'm Aaron.
I know. I'm working on my inspirational speeches. I'm saving those for later.
Yeah, this is why you're the artist.
Exactly.
I'm Aaron. I'm the host of Beards and Comics, along with Matt, as well as the co-owner of Catalyst Comics Studio. And yeah, we do a bunch of stuff. So that's pretty much who he is.
Oh wow, that's deep.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't.
You see how that works? You see how he
didn't
deals
volley
with me?
Had to go for a jump shot, man.
Oh
yeah. Ollie.
That's all right.
Yeah, a couple of things you got is like Tilt 1 and 2, which you just like passed Kickstarter like last year doing that. And then then you got your current Kickstarter, Welcome to Everville. So
yeah, which is
what's that about?
That's a horror book. It's horrible. It is our first descent into a horror comic. I'm not a massive horror fan, but I like kind of the classic monster stuff from the old days, Creature from the Black Lagoon, all that kind of stuff. I am a big sci-fi fantasy fan, though, so we wanted to take a spin on a like monster story and kind of spin it into a fantasy world. So that's kind of what we did, and we just took the horror elements from it and put that in there as well. So it's funny because people keep asking us to talk about that book, and we don't really know what to say because literally you hit about page 12 and the whole rest of the book's spoilers. So, I mean, it really just starts off with
it's kind of hard to explain it.
I mean, it just starts off with a monster showing up and killing some kids. This dude realizes that his dreams are actually more like premonitions, and so he decides to try to figure out what's actually going on. And there's some government conspiracy stuff going on. There's a lot of mystery and just a monster killing kids, man.
And I use red a lot.
A lot of reds.
There's a lot of red in the book.
That's
yeah,
cool. Yeah, like
about it.
That blood-stained like stretch goal, that'd be awesome. Like,
yeah,
wait, do you hit that yet or not?
No. Yeah, we're getting close. I think we were like 520 something off.
Yeah,
it can happen. You never know.
You got like 4 days left, so I think you can do it. Yeah.
Hopefully that bump at the end will take it off. But other than that, most people know us for like the superhero stuff. Like you just said, Tilt 1, Tilt 2. Tilt 3 is already chugging along. I think we're 6 pages in colored. All of it's illustrated now. And yeah, so it's pretty much just color and lettering, and then another Kickstarter.
Yeah. It's basically just like create Kickstarter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Stress.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, this one's been so different. I don't think Matt and I were expecting what happened on this Kickstarter at all. But it's just one of those things. We've only been publishing since last year, so when something kind of comes together, you don't really see it coming. So it's
this is also surprise. Our third Kickstarter.
Right.
So I mean, we kind of learned from those first couple ones of it's just and seeing how it's just me and Aaron making the book, we only had to do, we cut paying people down by a ton.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're not taking any money from it anyway, just because we're doing it. So it's just so much easier to just put a small goal of $500 just to get it printed, and everything else is going to go into production on all the books, paying other people, getting other products out. So
yeah.
That was definitely the goal with this one. Just having a nice 2-man team to just be like, okay, I'm not taking any money. You take any money? No? Okay, cool. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Less stress on Aaron. Less nice him calling and crying.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there's no backers in 24 hours. Dude, what's going on? Yeah. That's usually just ends up being how it is.
Yeah, our first, so we did an Indiegogo and then we did actually, I think we did 2 Indiegogos and then a
We did 2
Kickstarter.
Indiegogos.
We did 2 Indiegogos and a Kickstarter from like 2017 to up until
Which platform do you like better?
Kickstarter. Just because like more people know Kickstarter.
Because it worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold up. Now, is it because it worked, or is it that? Was it just that was the one? People started knowing you and finally getting a hold of everything.
I think it was,
Like, do you think if you went back to Indiegogo, would it
you
matter?
could probably do a lot better on Indiegogo now. Yeah, it was definitely. So when we first started running these, it was very much against my advisement. Like we didn't quite have the following I figured we would need. We didn't really have a plan for launching them. We didn't really have a surefire way to actually reach the objectives. And so that's something that we didn't have planned at all for any of the Indiegogos. Where the Kickstarter, when we ran that, we knew that we had to hit the limit. And if we didn't reach it, then we don't get the money. And so it's also kind of the incentive you get behind that, knowing that you have to reach your goal.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, we did the 2 failed Indiegogos. We did a failed Kickstarter, and I was gonna cancel it, but I think instead of canceling it, I just like we failed at it.
No, I think we canceled the Kickstarters because we found out that and this is something for anyone who goes to run a Kickstarter. If you have a failed Kickstarter, it actually goes like against your account kind of thing. So if you run another one, they're not likely to naturally promote it or organically promote it on their platform. Yeah.
So it's better. So it's better to cancel it.
Yeah, like if you're not going to reach it, it's better to cancel it because that was what Greg found out when we were first doing it. That's why we canceled it.
I also saw from other people that it's a bad thing to cancel it. So it's like,
yeah, you don't want to have fails on your record in the beginning, especially if it's your first one. Like if you just go out there and you have a fail on there as opposed to just canceling it altogether, then when you go to run your next one, it's like, oh, we have one failed one and one that's running.
Right.
Doesn't look good.
Right.
yeah. The reason we failed at our first Kickstarter was the goal was too high.
And preaching to the choir, man.
Yeah.
Ours only came through because somebody was like, dude, I got you guys. Like, just get what you can get, and I got you guys. But that was the same thing. We just overshot by way more. And it was more of we were seeing what everybody else was doing. And then it wasn't until after when we started kind of getting to know people and knowing this community that we realized a lot of these people did have Kickstarters, but they just did it under a new name and so like we would see their goals and be like, okay, well, this is their first Kickstarter. That seems kind of right. And then you realize later, oh yeah, they actually ran some under a different name or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, way overshot it.
Yeah.
Bastards.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The goal was like $10,000 or something crazy.
We didn't go that crazy.
15,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
My.
And
But were you guys doing a trade or were you doing like a floppy?
it was not for comics only. It was for like a bunch of things.
We basically were trying to do like a comic book publishing company startup. Like we had an idea where, we wanted funding for conventions. We wanted funding for print. We wanted funding to get, I think we even had the game on there the first time too. Like we wanted to get the game funded. So we basically asked for way too much and we weren't clear on like what we were focusing on, and having more than one goal for a Kickstarter is not good. It's good to have the stretch goals, but to have the primary goal be something that's like 6 different things, like nobody can like understand that and back that easily.
Right.
So you did a GoFundMe Indiegogo.
Yeah, basically.
I like money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that got canceled or whatever, and then we started fucking cat. We started to actually look into like how to do the Kickstarter the correct way, and I started
Changes
looking
things,
into,
doesn't it?
and I read this book called The $100 Startup.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan told me to read this book from like the beginning. He's just like, oh, don't run it yet, like read this, and I told him to shut up like all 3 times, and then I finally read it, and then we like destroyed our goal, in the last.
It's cool,
Kickstarter
Dylan.
last year.
Aaron doesn't listen to me either, man. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you got one writer, one artist. I'm sure there's times you guys disagree.
Well, I mean,
I mean,
not
we
really.
disagree, but we might have some disagreements, but it's never. I don't think we've ever actually fought about anything.
No, I mean,
At
we're
least
both
not
on the
with
same.
words. We just deck it out.
Right. We're on the same page about a lot of things. It's always going to be one of those, like, we both have the same goal. We
Yeah.
want to get it funded or finish a project. So all right, if it doesn't work, then we tried it. So then we'll try something else. As
Right.
long as we both have that.
That's definitely good.
It's okay to fail kind of deal. It's
Yeah.
going to happen. Let's try it. Neither one of us know what we're doing. As long as we both go in knowing that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
dragging-
trust me,
big-
dragging
Greg and I
Matt
know
out of
the
his
not
shelf.
But
That's what we did a lot of, because Matt had no interest in doing a podcast. We dragged him out of his shell, and now we've been going
Nice.
for 21 episodes, something like that.
Nice. See, it was funny. I was gonna say, like, you guys are saying, like, you guys went in like unprepared, and it's like, I don't know. You guys got the 2 podcast mics. I'm cooking breakfast. Greg's sneezing on cat fur. Like my screen's hilarious. It has Greg and I on top, just being slobs, and then you guys.
Oh,
look like
God.
you guys
Listen,
have a
these
podcast
mics,
or something.
these mics are 100% excuse to record music with,
Exactly.
and have another reason. So it has nothing to do with
Exactly.
pro
We're both
podcasters.
musicians, so we wanted the mics that we could do multiple things with. So
Yeah.
that's,
Nice.
I actually had
What
one of
do
those
you
mics.
guys play?
Guitar.
I play guitar and sing, so this was a good mic for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
You as well?
Yeah, I do. I do guitar. Me and Aaron have both played in bands and stuff like that. Of course, I was more in the punk rock scene, and he was
Nice.
Pop punk.
pop punk.
Pop punk.
So
Yep, it's all about it.
What's some of your favorite bands?
Oh god.
God, I've been listening to Dillinger 4 a lot. Let's see who else. I've always been into.
Right now is when he names a bunch of bands no one's ever heard of because he wants
Yeah,
to show
exactly.
how hipster and cool he is.
Yeah. Punk indie pop.
Man, I don't know. A lot of stuff. It's all the old school punk rock stuff I listen to. I don't really listen to a whole lot of newer stuff.
Yeah, I struggle with newer stuff too. I mean, I grew up in church, so most of mine was like pop punk from like Reliant K and stuff like that. So they've been around for forever.
Yeah.
Classic Crime's a big band that I listen to for years now. They're actually the ones that did the advertisement in Tilt 2. So that was kind of cool. Just
That's
get
awesome.
my favorite band to do the ad in the book. So
Nice.
check that off the list. But yeah, I mean, we listen to different music, but we both I think we appreciate some of the same stuff because Matt he's not going to bring it up because again he wants to show how hipster and cool he is. But we both like oldies and like
I
40s,
definitely love
50s,
old.
60s, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
You Frank Sinatra fan?
Yeah.
I'll crush some Frank Sinatra, man. It just makes me want to drink some scotch though.
We'll listen to everything: blues, rock
Yeah.
and roll.
A lot of blues.
Yeah, I saw like a
the
Facebook.
Moody Blues.
Yeah, I saw like a
roll with it.
Facebook. I saw a Facebook post from some friend on Facebook that's like, "Oh, what band did your dad like get you to listen to?" And I said like Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons because my dad's 80 years old.
Yeah, I mean that's what I grew up with was I mean my dad he's 67, 60 I don't know, something like that. But yeah, 40s, 50s, Righteous Brothers was a big one that he always got me on.
Brothers, nice.
And Sam Cooke which is still one of my favorites.
My dad's mad young compared to. Yeah, my dad's only in mid-50s, and so I got Styx and Journey and.
There you go.
And Boston and.
Yeah, that's
darn.
Yeah.
All that terrible music.
Yeah. I've just been introducing my wife to that realm of music because she didn't really grow up listening to any kind of rock or anything. So I've been getting her into like check out some Journey, some Boston, and it's just the feel goods.
I still just remember when I found out all the songs that Queen played, and I was like, oh, so they played every song that's ever been out there,
right?
All the time. In fact, they're probably playing one right now. I'm already hearing.
So Queen is music.
Yeah,
I get it. That checks out.
Yeah.
Any way you want it. Like, man, they own Toyota.
I actually really like that biopic movie that they did.
I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
I never saw it. I need to watch
pretty
it.
good, man.
I bought the DVD and I never buy DVD. So it actually says
What's a DVD? I'm gonna tell my kid about that someday.
There's like kids that are like, "What's that?" I'm like, "It's a VHS tape." Like,
Yeah.
this was the future.
The Lion King on VHS, man.
Yeah,
Land Before Time.
Oh
and
my
before
god,
time, I have all like 13
those are
of
awesome.
them.
Yeah, man. Classic.
Why do you like crying?
Littlefoot.
Yep.
Yep.
I watched. I went over to my friend's house. He stays in like the Raleigh Durham area. Not that that matters, but anyway, he's like one of those friends that has the huge collection of like old stuff, and he bought Fern Gully on Laserdisc, and we watched the actual Laserdisc.
Dang.
It actually says Laserdisc.
Oh, I mean, it's basically
like,
a record.
Is it the giant one?
Yeah, it's a straight up record size 12-inch movie, and he had a Laserdisc player, and we watched it. I was like, what this? I don't know what to say to this. And then like halfway through the movie, you had to flip it over. So it was awesome.
Nothing like that record sound, right?
Yeah.
Please take this time to go to the bathroom for this intermission.
That's so great, dude.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
awesome.
what I just watched before we got on here was Artemis Fowl, bro.
Was what?
Artemis Fowl.
It's on Disney Plus.
I've heard it was
I
bad.
know that one.
It was rough, man.
Yeah, that was that new Disney Plus movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just came out.
Look, my whole approach to movies now is I just want to have a good time. And I did not have a good time at all, man.
I'll make sure not to watch that then.
I know everyone should experience because
No,
some of it was laughable.
You have to
some of
suffer
it was
through
laughable. Yeah, exactly. Courtesy sniff.
Yeah, if like I basically like any movie I see, like I don't mind. I just saw Venom finally on YouTube. Like I literally rented it.
It was enjoyable.
That was a good movie actually.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the worst thing that some people were saying.
Dude, Matt and I went to the movies.
It wasn't Spider-Man 3.
And saw the Hellboy movie. So the newer Hellboy. We actually went to theater and saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that one on. I think we did the on demand, but I actually liked that one.
I mean, it's Hellboy killing monsters.
What?
I didn't go in there. Yeah, I didn't go in there expecting like award-winning.
Yeah, exactly. It was
from
just a good
Hellboy.
movie.
You know, like I just want to go enjoy it and see this dude just like beat some monsters up and just kill them all.
Yeah, I think I watched.
And it was enjoyable.
I think I watched that on demand, and then like for the next 2 days, binge watch The Witcher and just.
Yeah, I haven't even watched it.
The only thing that
I have a 3-year-old, man. I don't get to watch stuff
I think I started watching it. Yeah, I started watching it, and then like I got distracted by something shiny. I don't know, something happened.
probably a coin for The Witcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I was on my phone and YouTube was on, and I was like, okay, so, no, I got to watch this video. It's usually what happens. Then you go down that rabbit hole.
Yep.
There's
Like I think you'd also like this and this. And this
Exactly.
and this
Yeah.
and this and this.
I
Like,
would.
I'm just
Yes,
Get out
I
of my
would.
head. Get out of my head.
Does
YouTube.
anyone else just like hit new tab, and then just like you get through 3 of them, and then the suggestions on the 3rd one are so good you forget about the rest.
Oh, yeah,
and you
for
start
sure.
diving down that one.
All the time.
It's gonna be like a documentary on like the year 2020, and it's like, oh, you watched this. Here's something that you would be recommended. It'd be like Black Mirror.
Right. Oh, 2020.
Black Mirror is for the devil.
I'll tell you what, though, 2020 seems to be going good for Kickstarters, though.
Yeah. That's like, I was thinking it wasn't gonna do great this year.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that.
Because we were originally gonna do our Kickstarter in April, and it was actually the 6th of April, which is kind of weird that it's just gonna be the July 6th. I didn't plan it to be the 6th of whatever.
Usually the day we start our Kickstarter, something bad happens. Like we started the Paradigm #1 Kickstarter. I hit the go button, and then 15 minutes later is when the news broke that Stan Lee died. I was like, are you kidding me?
It's like, this is a bad omen.
Yeah,
this is not cool.
But, I mean, yeah, it was pretty much every time. I don't even remember what it was. Something this time. Somebody else died. I can't remember who it was.
Oh my God!
We kill people. Our Kickstarter kills people.
Did you kill Kobe?
Oh my
No,
God.
we did
No,
not.
that was That was before Kickstarter. BK.
Oh Jesus.
BK before Kickstarter. Yeah. Yeah, it's good to take a break though from Kickstarter
From
and
killing
everything.
people?
And killing people.
A lot of loose
Now
ends.
I know why you guys are doing a horror comic.
Yeah, we got to learn somehow.
There's the government conspiracy.
It's just like Bob Ross's paintings. They're just, where he hides the bodies. Scenery.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna just put a nice bush over here to hide this body.
That's right.
Happy little tomb. I mean tree.
This little grave site over here in the mountains. And
Use a brown.
little light brown over here. Just cover up the dead body.
This podcast got sick.
It got dark on this podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I was talking to Aaron the other day, and he actually said you guys did like that disappeared December thing last year, and we actually did that too. And Dylan did it more than I did.
Yeah.
We were trying to use it.
Like this.
Yeah. We were trying to use it as like let's get a bunch of scripts like already edited out advanced.
Right.
That didn't happen. He was just busy, being with his family, doing family stuff,
Goddamn family.
Goddamn family time. So
Yeah.
I was like
What a
bugging
jerk.
him. Yeah, I was bugging him like the entire month of December, and then I was like, oh, I guess next year I'll just relax too. So
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. I think this year I'm going to do it a little different too, because we were doing it, but then we were like, okay, we got to make sure when we come back strong. So here's all the stuff we need to work on to make sure when we come back, it's tight. And in all, I probably only took about 5 days and actually didn't do anything. So, we did disappear off of social media, but I still overworked myself.
Yeah, we disappeared off of social media, but we didn't stop working.
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
we were still
even that break
we were just
off
trying
of-
to catch up.
Yeah, even that break off of media helps though. Like it
Yeah.
helped the mindset a lot, where it's like, I don't got to figure out a stupid post today. So just having that energy to put into other stuff helped. But I think this year I'm going to try to pull back more and actually teach myself something.
Yeah, I finally got my own computer. Like, this is my girlfriend's computer, and my computer's over there. All I'm waiting on is like my webcam, and then that's literally it. And I don't have to use this hunk of garbage anymore. No. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna like learn more like in Blender, because I started learning that. I made a donut. It looks fancy and tasty.
I saw the donut.
And then
I think that's what I was gonna comment. I was like, let me leave it alone.
The donut?
Yeah, the donut.
Yeah. It looked good. I was like,
I tried adding sprinkles, and then it was like going under the icing, and I was like, I'm fucking sprinkles. So,
the icing was too real. It was too liquidy.
yeah. So I just ended up not putting sprinkles on it, and then
that's sad. Sprinkles are for winners. I'm a loser.
I'll go back to it and like add the sprinkles at some point, but oh my god.
It was looking very Simpsons-y. I was digging the donut.
And then I made a alien like in under an hour, like sculpting it from a tutorial. So I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool that I could do that.
I'm trying to get Matt to finish his actual sculpt.
Yeah, do you guys do like clay sculpts or something?
Don't you guys? No.
I was starting to mess with it.
Oh,
I can do graphic design. That's as far as I can take it.
oh, that's Dylan.
Yeah.
He did tell me to download GIMP, so that's probably another thing I'll start learning in like December.
I've been using GIMP for like 12, 13 years. I use it way more than I use Photoshop.
Yeah.
I just user-friendly wise, it's just light years better.
I opened it and I'm like, confused. I closed it.
There's a lot of buttons on the screen.
Yeah, so many buttons.
I'm telling you, it's way more user-friendly than Photoshop is. So you could probably master all the tools in like a day.
That just makes Photoshop more frightening for Greg now.
Yeah. I did learn Photoshop, like the basics, in like 10th or 11th grade in high school, but that was like,
Yeah, that was what Photoshop 1. I mean,
yeah.
how long ago
I
was
think
that?
that probably literally would have been Photoshop 2 or 3 at most.
Right,
Yeah.
which I think is the first Photoshop I used, and I was like, "This is trash."
Yeah.
Like,
It really
love
depends
that.
on what
I
you're
still have,
using
like,
it for.
The first photo I ever edited on there. I don't have the original PSD file, but I do have like the original photo because I remember using it for MySpace. I was like,
Oh God, I remember when Photoshop first introduced like the 3D feature, and that blew my brain. I was like,
Yes.
"What?"
it's 5.5, I think, is when they added it.
Yep, and it was just like, "What? Are you telling me I could just hit a couple buttons and make this 3D and not have to make 500 layers of it and then mask them all?" So I was all about that. That was pretty awesome.
Like, look, a ball.
Exactly.
So glorious.
20 layers.
This dude's intimidated by GIMP, but he's over here making donuts on Blender.
I have this Australian dude like teaching me on YouTube. He's like, "All right, good day, everybody."
And then you have to rewind it. Wait, what did he say?
No, I literally have to do that a million
Where's the
times.
good day button?
Yeah, where's the subtitles on this?
First, we're gonna delete the cube. That everybody does that. They just
You got to delete the cube.
like
That's
the
the first thing you
default
do.
cube. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what they should do? Not even put the cube in there when you load up Blender.
You can actually do that. You can actually like save the settings so there's no cube when
That's
it
great.
loads up. And I'm like, oh, come on.
I've never.
Greg's learning something.
Yeah, man. I wanted to use Blender at one point, and I remember just every single tutorial was like delete the cube. I was like, why do they even have a cube? No one. I've never seen anyone use the cube.
Like, what is
Hashtag leave the cube.
Hashtag not my cube.
Yeah. So learning Blender, and I'll probably do that in December. And if our video game funds, which we're going to talk about in part 2,
Yep.
with your podcast,
Yep. Which means you guys all have to listen on Thursday.
Yeah.
You gotta listen on Thursday,
July the 2nd.
July 2nd,
to hear about video game.
Hear about video, Wago, and social media.
See, this is new because I didn't even know about part 1. So
Surprise!
I'm excited to hear about part 2, so I can go back and hear about part 1 somewhere else.
Part 1 will also be on Anchor and Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
You know,
we
all,
have
all that stuff that they do.
Yeah, we gotta be better at like somehow promoting our podcast, but we don't. I think you guys do probably. You probably do like the sponsorship stuff, don't you? I feel like I haven't done that yet because
just put it on every episode.
Yeah, it's
let
like
it build itself.
Here's
We've made like $10 off this podcast, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, like there's Joe Vallon. He does his podcast, but he has like girlfriend / like manager do crazy shit.
Never watched his podcast. That dude's art is insane.
He got Rob Powers to do Fibber 1 to 3. 3 is still being worked on, and then he has Scattered Comics. I think Jason Doobie.
Oh yeah.
He's doing, or he has like a team that's working on some other one called like Deer Hearts. So.
People hiring teams must be nice.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, well, I finally have a team. Finally for our stuff. Man, we have the same colors, same letter. The letter is from Travis Gibb.
Of course.
Yeah, Jerome. And the colorist.
He's everywhere, man.
I cannot do a podcast without his name coming up.
I know. For God's sake.
He's everywhere.
And then you have Chuck Pino, right? Yeah, and that's another guy. Yeah. We can't escape him.
And Chuck actually helped us with we're remastering our first Seer Chronicles. So the Kickstarter we did last year, like that's like, oh, so you guys told us everything that's wrong with it or what's right with it, and then we just went back and like we basically are remastering.
Everybody's a critic.
I actually like criticism.
I will admit this newer version
is so much better.
It looked like it was written by a toddler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad. Greg wrote the first one.
Dang.
Yeah. Yeah, Chuck's just like, oh, like this could stay, but like our artist is the one, like the original artist.
Page
like
3. and 28 are good. The rest, let's just start over, guys.
Like we just went.
I
More
like the
into
part where it
depth.
said, "Hey guys, welcome to the comic book." After that, it kind of goes downhill, guys. Let's start over.
A title page.
Nailed the
In
end.
a world that can stay.
Yeah.
In fact, let's change world. Maybe do Earth. Like
In a universe.
world.
So yeah, Chuck's like, oh, okay, I like this and this, but like we went more in depth and like we turned the first page into like 4 pages, which is insane. So I was like, wow, that's awesome.
So it's gonna be
Yeah, and not
oversized
just-
issue.
Yeah, not just like filler. Like we actually just went in and like made sure that a lot of the stuff that like because when Greg knows this, like I've been editing all the newest comics that we'll be working on and releasing, and basically Greg's got something in his head and he's like, here's a whole plot line and this will happen. I'm like, why is this happening? He's like, because it has to happen for this thing. I go, but why? Like, what is going on? Like, why did they all show up at the same time? Like, is there a reason they're all here? Like,
Yeah.
so
See,
like making sure that we like have all those little side stories, all the little small details. And then the other big thing that we started doing for this one is ensuring there's something that's supposed to be very big, like 10, 20 comics from now, that we want to slowly start to Easter egg in there. And basically, unless someone's listening to the podcast or playing the game when we release the game, they're not going to quite know what that is yet.
right.
You start to notice it, you'll realize it's popping up every now and again, and you're like, oh, what is this thing I keep seeing that's not being talked about?
Yeah. We're all about some Easter eggs.
Yeah.
See, Matt quit having meetings with me because I'd be like, "Here's 14 storylines, and they all go together." So
I'm like, what's that have to do with the next page that I'm trying to draw and figure out how a
Well, yeah,
room
'cause-
works?
well, because he's over here doing Welcome to Everville, which has nothing to do with the superhero universe that we're the other side of it. So but we we have a big scope on stuff too. We have I think 42 issues before the big crossover event, and it's all laid out, planned out. And I still remember Matt's face in that meeting. So good times.
And that's something that Greg and I have been doing as well as we're starting to fill in details on the actual storyline. One of the things that we're doing to actually help us continue to build out all the characters and other plots is like we've actually basically created an internal wiki on all of our characters.
Right.
We describe stuff that will never be mentioned in the comics or may never be mentioned in the comics, just so we know like why someone might do something. So like, for example, there's a police officer or a detective in the next comic, issue 2, the one we're running the Kickstarter on. And we know that he has a family, and that's important because of why he might respond to a situation a certain way.
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of motivation for any character, no matter what character it is, big or small. What is it that motivates them to be the person that they are? And I say that on some of the things that we're all on, those Facebook pages where people ask stuff about writing.
Mhm.
And that's my big thing. They'll just throw stuff up like, hey, this is a cool idea for a villain. And then my question to them always is why? Well, what motivates them to choose to go either good or bad? And I mean, that's a lot of, you got to put thought into that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, Greg knows that for one of our characters who's gonna end up going a bit crazy. Like there was a specific reason he was gonna go crazy. And I'm like, no, let's make it worse. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
He stepped on that Lego that was left on the ground.
Hey man, bruh.
That was the straw.
if there was ever a reason to like shoot up a place, like that's it right there.
That's it.
Lego piece on a bare foot,
Dude.
3 o'clock in the morning when you're on the way to go to the bathroom, like just it's not
Half
not
asleep.
okay.
Dude, that'll put you over the edge for sure.
Mhm.
Oh
And,
God.
Yeah.
It's like those. Do you ever see those memes where it's like, oh, I found a spider in the kitchen, and then the guy's outside, and his house is on fire.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, just immediate overreact.
Yeah. I stepped on a Lego at 3 a.m. in the morning, and you see it.
Burn the house down. That's sick.
So
Yeah.
probably close this out. And
Yep.
then everybody can tune in for part 2.
Wait, before we close this out, is anyone else worried that Greg's face might be cold? Like, it's got to be freezing.
Why?
I don't understand like how he just goes on and
Oh, so I don't have a beard. I was like,
He
what?
doesn't have his-
I'd be
I mean-
losing my mind.
One of these things is not like the other.
I was like, wait, what?
Why
Beard
is
in
my
his
face
mind. You Photoshop on a beard.
So part 1 was me making breakfast. Part 2 is gonna be me eating breakfast.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, I mean that's cool. We could do that.
You wanna give them the rundown?
I mean, do you?
You're the pro.
God, dude.
You've got it on lock already. You've said it so
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah. I mean, for us, we already said it earlier. Beards and Comics Podcast. We're all over wherever you get your podcasts. Welcome to Everville. I think we got, what day do you guys put out your podcast again?
Ours is Tuesdays.
All right. So you got a couple of days left to get on Welcome to Everville #1. It's on Kickstarter, so check it out. Tilt 3 is chugging along, so we'll be doing a Kickstarter for that soon. Tilt 2, Tilt 1, Paradigm 1, all available on the website now. Find us all over the web, catalystcomicstudio.com and Catalyst Comics Studio on all of our social media, except for Twitter, because it doesn't fit. So Twitter is Catalyst Comics with an X. Fancy. But that's us.
Okay. Well, everybody stay tuned for part 2.